I just want everyone to know that if you're not feeling the way you want to feel, it can change. It really can change. And it doesn't have to take forever. It feels like it's impossible. It feels maybe unreachable, but it can change very quickly. And yes, you might need support. You might need someone to guide you, but there are methods and there's techniques. And when one of them might resonate or might sound, okay, that's kind of a nudge from the universe. Like, go check that out, go explore it. But it can change and it will change.
Welcome to the That's Where I'm At podcast. I'm Laura, happily divorced after spending years with a narcissist. I believe keeping secrets will make you sick and that they always come to light in the end. As women, we're often told to be quiet, don't share your story, don't talk about the things we go through. It's making women sick, sad, and suicidal. We don't have to be on the other side to share our story. This show is for the women still in the middle of the mess, but showing up bravely as they heal. It's time to share these stories with each other so we can learn, grow, and heal together. I'm Laura, and that's where I'm at. Please take note that this episode may contain subjects that may be triggering to certain listeners. Please take care when listening today. Today, I have a great episode for you guys. I'm talking to Christina Woods, and she is a coach, hypnotherapist, and healer. We had such a good conversation talking about her childhood, her really deep wounds of childhood trauma that she actually hid until she was about 50. She buried it deep, and then she talks about how it really affected her life, and she didn't even realize it was because of that. And so I want to encourage you guys to get the healing that you need from Christina, from me, from someone trusted, because sometimes we have really deep wounds that have affected our entire life, and we don't even realize that we are walking around with ideas and thoughts and things that have happened to us that weren't even our fault, the words that were not ours, our thoughts that weren't ours. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear her healing journey, what she does now, and I hope you guys will connect with her because she's amazing. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the That's Where I'm At podcast. Today I have Christina, and Christina helps smart, capable, spiritually open women finally shift the patterns that keep them from holding their boundaries, trusting themselves, and aligning their lives with their hearts. She's a coach, hypnotherapist, and healer, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. So welcome, Christina.
Hey, Laura. Thanks for having me.
So, oh my gosh, those are great things. Coach, hypnotherapist, healer. Love it all. In fact, I signed up for your class next week, so I'm very excited.
Oh, I'm excited. That's great.
So yeah, go to her website and check out all her things. So tell me how you got into doing this line of work.
Well, it's a big surprise. I was in a corporate world for over 30 years. It's not what I expected to do. And when I started doing it, my son was like, "Oh my God, Mom, I think you're like the guy at the fair doing the making people act like chickens." I'm like, "Nope, that's not what I'm going to do."
I know. I try to explain that to people all the time. I had a really good hypnotherapy session a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you got to watch this." Like, she gave us the replay, whatever. And my friend was just like, "Well, I don't, is this like about past lives?" And I'm like, "What?" Like,
yeah, oh no. Yeah,
no, they
don't
don't.
know.
Yeah.
Well, my journey is, I think, pretty similar to a lot of people. I did, what you're told to do. I was tried to be really good, and I lived a life that got a lot of validation on the outside. And I did that because I grew up thinking that if you got good grades and you joined the clubs and were popular, and I felt anything but popular. I felt like I grew up not with very much, and single mom, oldest of four, just really in survival mode. But I learned quickly, like, if you get good grades or you do things, you get validation, you get approval, and that felt good.
Yeah.
So I sort of did that and carved out a corporate life and got married and had kids. And about 30 years in, my marriage fell apart. My health started falling apart. I was not happy. I was completely stressed out, trying to be super mom and all the things that we do. Big time people pleaser. I was the one at work that you could call at midnight and say, "Hey, we need you to do this by 7 a.m. And I'm like, okay, I got to bring orange slices to the soccer game tomorrow. And I got to do this. I got to do that. And, but you better look good while you're doing it all.
Yeah.
And it just all freaking collapsed. And I was having a moment where I thought, I don't want this anymore. My marriage is over. What the hell do I do? And so I decided to just dive into therapy, which was something that I really was very scared of because I just didn't want to know why I felt certain ways. I was scared.
Yeah.
But I dove in. And one of the things that somebody had recommended was hypnotherapy. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to give it a shot. And I had listened to some meditations, and one of them was hypnotherapy, and it kind of made me feel better. They didn't really hypnotize me, but I thought I'm just going to try it. So I did. And very, very quickly, I felt better. And she dug up some things from my past. And we're talking in about an hour. And I thought, what is this? And long story short, I thought, wow, I have learned things about myself that I believe to be true that aren't even true. Beliefs like I'm not good enough and I'm bad. And I realized those beliefs that aren't true literally have carved the way I've led my life and validated and made me do things that, again, have really created a lot of stress and anxiety, basically ruined my marriage where I believed I'm on my own. No one's going to support me unless I'm a good, a successful person. All my power I gave to everybody else and everything out there. And I just thought I had to be a complete control freak or no one else was going to do it as good as I would. And it just made me exhausted and on my own. So, but it was through hypnotherapy, and I did other, therapies that were really very helpful.
Yeah.
But it was through that method that was so quick and so different than what Netflix showed me hypnotherapy was and the carnival guy.
Right.
And it just so quickly showed me that we have beliefs that were created to keep us safe and survive, but we also can rewire those beliefs. And hypnotherapy did that for me. And it was so strong that I thought, I'm going to do this for other women and other people. And I've combined all my coaching and leadership, and I'm an intuitive healer as well. And it's just a very quick way to help women say, you know what, you get to go back to who you really are. And these other things that are part of why do you eat cookies in the middle of the night? Why do we people please and do so many things? You know what? Our mind is there to help us survive, not really to thrive or be happy. It's actually there to survive. And you get to get rid of those things and actually be a happy, thriving person. It's just we need to understand actually how our mind works. And hypnosis is a really fast, amazing way to do it.
When I just love all of that. And I have learned that as well in the last, since 2016, really, I've been doing therapy off and on. And then, of course, more intensive after I got divorced in the last few years. And just learning, it's like, was that even my voice? Like every time, if I look in the mirror and I think I'm fat or ugly or not good enough or whatever, it's like, who even told me that? And so I'm sure some of my friends are probably sick of it because I do the same thing when they say like, I need to do this to feel better. And I'm like, okay, do you really feel like you need to do that to feel better? Or like, I mean, and we're all healthy. So we challenge each other on that. So one of our friends came into our group chat to cry about something. And two of us are like, that's your old way of thinking. Like, knock it off. Like and she was like, oh my God, you're right. And so like, I think, like you said, our brain is trying to protect us. And it's like, it feels familiar. It's like, this is the way I used to do it. Doesn't mean it was right or good, but this is the way I used to do it, the way I used to think. So I tell friends that all the time that are struggling with like the way they look, or they don't want to take a picture because they think they're fat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, who told you that? Because I know for me, I know who told me certain things. And so I don't believe it anymore. And I was a speech therapist for 15 years. So learning all about the brain and how we can, form the new neural pathways. And so the poor people I coach, I'm like, hello, this is your science lesson now. It's like, would you like to hear about your neural pathways and what happens when you're negative and what happens when you're positive? Guess what? The same thing's happening. Let's go. Like we got to form new pathways.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I mean, I was a speech major in college. I was in sales for 30 years. I'm not a scientist. This is not who I am, but this isn't really difficult to understand.
Right.
The way you think impacts how you feel. What we say to ourselves, our body responds. And so you can control how you speak to yourself. You don't get to control how your body reacts. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't.
Right.
And so if you're continually saying, I'm bad with money, I'm bad with money.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I had a client yesterday who kept saying, I just don't know how to budget. I'm just not good at budgeting.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? No one, you just don't know how. You haven't learned how.
Right.
An accountant wasn't born an accountant. They actually learned. I'm sure when they were 6 months old, they weren't walking around doing anything like
With their
that.
little calculator or something.
Yeah. These are things, certainly maybe they had an inclination or an interest, but these are some things you can just learn. Why don't we start saying, hey, I don't know today, but these are the basic things I can learn. And the job you have, did you know how to do it? Yes. When you started? No, you slowly learned. So we can tell our minds, you know what, this is difficult, but I'm learning every day. I'm getting better and better. Doesn't that feel better than I suck at this and I'm terrible?
Yeah. And especially when you're learning something new, like we know the brain, when you fail at things, the brain actually grows and it starts, well, grows. Okay. So that's why it's like, I'm like, why do you guys think they tell all old people to do crossword puzzles and Sudoku and stuff? It's like, we can continue to keep our brain healthy, but we have to sometimes fail. And when we don't fail at things, we're only being careful, then our brain doesn't have any reason to grow because it's not learning anything new. And so, my therapist really encouraged me when I got divorced, like go say yes to a lot of new things so that you can figure out what you like and don't like. Cause I would show up and hiking was my ex's thing. And so it was like a sore spot for me. And so when somebody asked me if I wanted to go hiking after I got divorced, and I had to go to therapy for that question.
Sure, I get that.
Yeah, it just really triggered me. And I was like, I don't know. Should I do? And she said, well, you should probably go hiking and see if you like it. I was like, oh, just because let's go figure it out. And then, I played new sports and I've tried new things. And to me, it makes me happy. I don't mind failing. Like, so I think too, and you might feel this way too, like when we're in abuse and where we're expected to be a certain way, you can't ever try new things and fail because then you're a failure. And sometimes you're told you're a failure. And I know being with a narcissist for 30 years,
Yeah.
or for 30 years, he did not like it if we had to try new things because he didn't like to fail. And I was always like, yeah, but it's okay to do that. It's okay to fail. It's not life and death if we're not good at something. It's just a new way to think. And so I learned to be very quiet and careful and not fail at things.
Yeah. And also, we look for evidence for the strongest belief. It doesn't have to be the truth. I mean, my ex used to say I was bad with money.
Right.
It became my truth. And so my behavior actually, I would spend too much at Target. Well, I must be bad with money.
Yeah.
I would have a credit card, debt. He's right. I'm bad with money.
Yes.
And it became my truth. And I would seek evidence to validate my truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became my reality and I would abuse money. And so then it would be validating he's right. Mm-hmm. But what happens is you're able to step back and say, wait, is that the truth? And that's, again, what happens in hypnosis or anything where we actually start to question the truth. It's like, well, wait a second, because I was actually spending money to actually feel better. And now I know I was trying to fulfill something else. So the truth isn't I was bad with money. The truth is I didn't feel good enough. And there was a vacancy in my whole entire life and marriage. And that actually was the truth. And so I'm actually pretty good with money. But I was looking for evidence. And so we could find evidence. We get to be right. No matter what. We get to be right. And so it's a paradigm shift that I had, which really we can have that anywhere. And so whatever we want, we get to be right. And so if we change the dialogue in our mind, which hypnosis, therapy, any type of paradigm shift we get to have, which is actually, I'm really good with money now, or I'm actually a very nice person, or I actually like to hike, whatever it is, we get to be right and we find evidence like, actually, that felt good. Or actually, I just balanced my checkbook. I might only have $10 left, whatever.
But you did it.
I did it. So our mind is programmed to find evidence for our strongest truth.
Okay.
And so whether the truth is right or wrong or good or bad, or it makes us happy or sad. And that's very important for us to understand about our mind.
Yeah. And I really like the idea of been trying to teach too about just because a thought comes into your head does not mean it's true. It doesn't mean it needs to stay there. Like it can just visit, like get out. Like you don't have to believe it again, like we talked about. Like who even gave you that thought? Is that even your voice? Is that even how you really think about yourself? I had to unravel a lot of that too, that whole thing, like say for money as an example. And I had to unravel so many things to the point where when I got divorced, even my dad was like, "Are you going to be okay?" And I said, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know that you know how to do anything." But I was running the whole show at my home, but that's not what appeared on the outside.
Ah, yeah.
And so I could have said, "Oh, yeah, he's right. Like, I don't know how I'm going to survive." I literally said, "You guys should be worried about him." And
I was doing you're probably,
I did everything. And I was even installing something in my condo. And my son goes, "Do you know how to do that, Mom?" I go, "Excuse me? I actually have tools. I was the one doing things around the house, not your dad, And he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah." I think Brene Brown talks about that. Like, don't look for evidence of where you don't belong because you'll find it.
That's amazing. Yes.
And I could be butchering that quote, but I think that's it, because the people who are like, "Oh, my friends are out doing things." It's like, we're making assumptions. And of course, our brain is going to be like, they don't like you. That's danger. Those friends are danger. And it's like, we have to talk ourselves through those things.
We really do. And the words that we say, I mean, I was out with friends the other day and we were playing a game where you name bands. And one of the things I used to say to myself was, I was very shy as a child, or I don't want to get attention. I'm not the smart one in the class. God forbid a teacher asked me a question.
Right.
And so we're playing this kind of a trivia game. And when it became my turn, I just sort of got triggered. Like, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I don't want to play this game. I'm out. And my friend was like, "Are you joking? I feel like I'm in second grade right now and I don't know the answer."
Yeah.
But friends will call you out. She's like, "Could you just get over yourself and just stop
I
right
love
now?"
that.
Right.
I love my friends who are healthy.
Yeah.
Like, can you just get over? Can you get over yourself?
Okay now? Do you need therapy or could you just move on? And I had to literally say, "Okay, you're not in second grade.
Right.
You're not. That's not me anymore."
Yes.
And that's an old dialogue. And you can choose to go down the road where you're the one who doesn't know, or actually you could just pause and breathe and just think of a name of a band. You're just drinking a beer and just playing a game.
It's not serious, not life or death.
But I had a choice. And I think there's these crossroads happen in life a lot. Like I could be the one who is bad with money, or I could be the one that actually problem solves and we can move on. I could be the one who this or that. Every day we actually have these choices. Because we do have unfortunate things that happen in life. I can be the one right now who says, "I just got an unfortunate call from a family member who now has an illness." And I can decide to say, why do bad things always happen just when everything is going right?
Yes.
Or I can say, you know what? This is a sad time, but we're going to get through this. The dialogue and the words we have actually really do impact our body, our nervous system, and actually the solutions we come up with and the choices we have. And hypnosis is happening constantly all the time in our lives. Yes. Okay. There's sessions and the process and an audio you can listen to formally rewire. But hypnosis is actually the process of rewiring and dialogue and choices that you have all day long. And really just the option to choose this path or that path. And the words we say, this road or that road, is happening all the time. Think about it.
If you have, like, you're talking to women who they want to shift their patterns and all that, right? We have to unlearn some things. We've been living a certain way and we think it's okay. I mean, I definitely walked out of my marriage and said, "Oh, great, I'm getting rid of the problem. Everything's going to be great." And I have been learning so much. I've been unraveling so much. I'm like, man, I had to unlearn a lot of things because I noticed I was doing things automatically, like you said, right? Doing things in life just by default. Then I'm like, do I even like that? Do I even feel this way? Do I believe these things?
Yeah.
And it's been a lot to learn about myself, but also unlearn and be okay with that. And what that's done is I'm a completely different person. I mean, that person from 3 years ago doesn't even exist because I learned boundaries and I learned how to love myself,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So,
You, yeah, you made new things familiar. So
yes, yes.
we're programmed to actually experience past emotions.
Mm,
So don't ever feel guilty when we feel stuck. I think
yeah,
we beat ourselves up when we feel stuck.
yeah,
We do get divorced, and then it's like, well, why didn't everything miraculously get better? Or
right,
especially if we wanted, we don't ever want it, but we think, well, I got rid of the quote unquote problem,
right,
or I had the surgery. Why am I not feeling better? Or I lost weight. Why am I not happy? Why haven't
yeah,
I met someone?
right.
People, I have money. Why am I not happy? Because we actually are programmed to experience whatever is familiar. So
Mm,
that's what we're programmed to do. So you literally have to program yourself to make a new thought familiar. And guess what, folks? Your mind does not want to make a new thought familiar, even if it's a good one, even
yes,
if it's a good one. And that's crazy because if the old thought wasn't even a good one, you're
right,
thinking, of course I want to be happy. But that isn't how your mind works. It only wants to survive, not be happy. Survive. So if saying the world's out to get you, if that helps you survive, that's the way it's going. So you're
right.
going against the tide. You have to make
Mm,
a new thought familiar over and over and over and over until it's the new neural pathway. So
yes,
you made things more familiar. So you had a new neural pathway that said, oh, okay, Laura, those things are more familiar. We're just going to trust those things now. And we don't even think about those other things anymore.
right. Yeah,
It takes
exactly.
time.
It does take time. But I really ran after my healing and was like, I need to change like some of these things. And
Same.
you have to. I wasn't happy where I was. This was even before I understood that it was abuse, but I just wasn't happy as a person. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got rid of the problem. Great. But now I'm like, I feel like a shell of a human. Let's fix that. Let's
Yes, I am with you. I'm with you.
let's figure all that out. So you got divorced after 30 years, but tell me, how did some of these things from your childhood really affect you, like in
Oh,
your marriage and in your life? I know it did, but yeah,
yeah.
been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah, just like, especially like what you talk about, abandonment, emotional neglect, and yeah,
Sure,
those
sure.
are common. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty candid about it. So in my childhood, I had experienced some sexual abuse by a neighbor when I was about 8.
Mm,
And I actually buried it till I was about 50.
wow.
So I didn't live my life actually I never told anyone, never even told my husband of 25 years because it wasn't anything I identified with.
Yeah.
And I was successful. I had a marriage, 2 children. I didn't really see any area of my life that I thought I didn't even acknowledge it really.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that really wasn't a big deal. I just sort of put it in a vault and let it go away. And I didn't grow up with a lot. My mother, we always had what we needed.
Mhm.
But how it influenced me was I never felt enough. I always felt less than other people.
Okay.
And so how it influenced my life was seeking validation outside of me,
Yeah.
overachieving, overdoing, overgiving. Let me buy you a bigger gift than I maybe can afford. Let me do more in the corporate world than everybody else. Let me
Yeah.
overachieve and overgive and extend myself.
Yeah.
Let me always feel like it's my fault.
Yeah.
It must be my fault. I'm not a good enough mother, wife.
Mhm.
Even when I am leaving pages and pages of notes when I travel for a trip and making 14 meals and putting
Yeah.
them in the freezer,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be the best of the best,
Mhm.
and then being criticized by a partner. Why do you do that? Why do you this and that? And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I must not be nice. So that's how
Yeah.
it shaped my life. I spent too
Yeah.
much trying to always fill the void.
Mm.
So again, it created a feeling of I must just not be good enough. I must be bad. Until one day I realized, actually, I'm not that bad. Why do I do these things? Why do I overextend? Why am I so damn tired?
Yes.
And I don't think I'm that bad. and but why do I feel bad and shitty inside? And
Yeah.
that's when I stopped the bus. And why do I have autoimmune diseases? Why am I tired? Why is my hair falling out? Why am I overweight? Why is all these things happening? And yet I have a lot of money in the bank. I have all the things everybody wants.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just falling to shit. And when I went looked inside is when the abuse came out, when everything else came out. It literally was almost at 50 years old.
Wow.
And because when you hide shame and you hide guilt, it really just created a Christina version of me that was overcompensating to hide shame and guilt. And again, those are the parts of me that realized I had just created a mask, a persona, a hidden, another version of me. I've just, I think there's a lot of us that portray another version because we're trying to hide a version of us. And now that all that's gone, I get to be me. And we all should be able to just be us. We don't need to be perfect. We just get to be free and authentic. And what a relief, damn, what a relief.
Seriously. So I think about, because we try to bury, it could be anything, but people who have sexual abuse in their background, like you're just putting everything on top of it and trying to hold it down, hide it away in that part of you. And if I do the successful things and I have a great family and everything else, like they won't come up and it won't matter.
Yeah.
So when you started, this is more for people listening that maybe haven't done that work. When you started looking at that, because it's not, I just want people to not be scared, because I know it sounds scary. It sounds scary to take it out and look at it. But it doesn't have to, it's not going to be forever. Like it's like an initial thing. And then because you're not walking around going like, you guys, I was abused. Like you don't have to do that anymore.
No, I
Because
don't.
you've healed that part. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about that when you pulled that out and what the journey was like in that healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was such a relief because it explained,
Right.
explaining, first of all, just even identifying and labeling it and understanding. Because think about it, if a friend told you this, you would have so much compassion. It
Yes.
opened the doors of compassion. And I allowed myself to have compassion. So when you have compassion for yourself,
Love that.
you allow yourself to love yourself and be patient and kind and understanding. And it just allowed myself to soften. And from there, I could say, oh, that explains so much about my behavior. And
Yes.
the edges softened. It actually allowed me to not be angry at my mom and my ex. And because I was lashing out at them because I was just covering up so much. So everything just kind of softened, everything relaxed. And I started actually talking about it on podcasts. And then this last June, I actually was an author in an anthology. I wrote a chapter about it.
Awesome.
And if you would have told me I ever would tell a soul, much less speak about it. So because I feel like I'm not the only one who's hidden this. And there is no shame. I went through a period of where, did I do something wrong? Well, I was 8 years old borrowing a cup of sugar from a neighbor. No, I didn't do anything wrong. But, it did shape me. And I'm ending that story of shame. And
awesome.
And it's important to do that. But it did soften everything and explain a lot.
Yeah.
And from there is, I'm able to own who I am and my voice and reclaim it, take it all back.
Yes, exactly. Well, I love that. I mean, I just love that. And I love that you said it softened the edges. I really like that. And now you have the opportunity to be the real you, like you were talking about, or even figure out, who am I really, when I'm not trying to hold this thing down inside of me. Because I know it does affect people. Just me, even just talking, I've just unraveled so much stuff about my entire life. And I thought, no, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to talk about that. But then doing it and going like, oh, okay, this explains a lot. This
And I
explains.
don't,
Yeah. And it was good to be able to do it, to talk about it.
yeah. And, it doesn't have to be abuse. I think we
Yes.
sometimes feel like we have secrets.
Yes.
There might be even debt can feel so shameful for
Yeah.
women or
Yeah.
people. Debt, infidelity, or this happened to me, or
Yeah.
some kind of a secret we feel embarrassed about. Anything like that. Once you start to have compassion for yourself about what was going on inside of us,
Yeah.
where were we in our life at that point, and where are you now? You have forgiveness and compassion, and you see it differently, and we move on and we heal, and we see it allows you to grow and evolve.
Yeah. And, the shame is meant, to isolate you and just keep you like that, keep you isolated. And that's where I went right after my divorce. Well, when I started finding out about his lies and his betrayals and stuff, I was like, oh, I have a lot of shame from this, which I didn't know that was a normal response. Like, I was so dumb. How did I not see it? All these things, right?
Yes.
Like that
Yeah.
whole thing. So I had a friend who said, shame is broken in community and in conversation. So we can't just maybe get together, but, because you can do support groups and stuff like that. There's those people who don't share. And then one day they share. And man, it's just broken. When we bring that dark to the light,
Yeah.
that to me was why I started doing this. I said, no, I don't understand why people are telling me don't talk about it. I said,
Uh-huh.
I said, there's a woman out there who's me, who's dying, and she needs to hear that she's going to be okay and that she's not the only one. I have people in my comments and DMs all the time that were married the same amount of time as me. They just got divorced, or they maybe been divorced the few years like I haven't. It's like, they're like, thank God. Oh, you're doing okay. Okay, great. Like
I
it's like
know.
that's what you need. And that's why I talk about these things. Doesn't matter to me that people don't want you to talk about it, but the only person it protects is abusers. So that's why I keep talking about it.
Absolutely. And everyone's story is unique and different, but maybe
Yeah.
there's a version that
Yes.
we can connect. Yeah.
That's it. And I always say, like, you'll get a little nugget. Doesn't have to be the same exact story, but so many of us are doing so many of the same things. We are having same responses. We may have had, maybe there wasn't sexual abuse or child abuse, but we know that feeling of emotional neglect or abandonment. How
Mhm.
maybe you were a people pleaser, but we were people pleasers because we were built that way. We were molded to be that way. I'm the oldest daughter.
Yep.
I'm a little parentified. And so, it's
Same.
it's just, it's our lot in life. As hello, here you go. This is what you get. And I just think about, so I did work on my 6-year-old self, and I did work on my 15-year-old self, and just the wounds I had from that. And so now I understand it all, and it's good. Like, I was able to move on from there. But yeah, had to talk to them a little bit and
Oh, it's the
give them
best
what
work
they
you
need.
can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hypnotherapy, the part of our mind, our subconscious mind, we have our
Yeah.
conscious or subconscious, and
Yeah.
hypnotherapy quickly goes, your subconscious mind is 95% of how you feel and see the world. So
Yeah.
to access it, how you see and feel, that's your emotional mind. Your conscious thinking mind is only 5%. So
Yeah.
to access it and change to find the truth and rewire, that's very, very powerful. So it's just another method to access that.
Yeah, I was blown away by that statistic that I've heard so many times now. And it's like 95%. Well, yeah, we got to do the work
It is
internally.
amazing.
It really is. But it's true. Think about how you walk through your day, and things are automatic, and just things are automatic in your whole world. Even the way you talk to yourself in the mirror and the way you think, like the first thought that comes into your head when something happens. Are you saying, like, oh, that was stupid? Stuff like that. Just the way we're talking to ourselves is like, where did that come from?
It's
Why?
autopilot.
Yes, it's so auto. Well, we can change it. That's the thing, is we can change it. So everybody get to work. And so you left your marriage. I don't know, I don't remember, but was your marriage abusive, or did you guys just decide, look, I got to be done after 30 years? Things were just kind of falling apart.
There wasn't abuse. It was very unhealthy
Mm.
and verbal abuse, and just not a healthy relationship
Yeah.
for a very, very, very long time. So,
Yeah. So when you left there, then, so probably working on like your self-worth, and what did you work on, and what did you do to try and get healing, even right after, maybe before you started going fully into this line of work?
Yeah, I actually did hypnosis. I did a
Oh, right.
lot of EMDR.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
I did probably 5 years of EMDR, which is, also subconscious work. I
Yeah.
did therapy. I did a lot of energy healing, a lot of retreats. I dove hardcore into a lot of self work.
Me too.
Uh, yeah.
Me too.
It was all hands on deck, which was something I had avoided. And it took a lot. It wasn't easy. I can remember
Mhm.
driving to the therapist's office many times, wanting to turn the car around and not go. and,
And that's
but
when you know you should go.
that's when you know you should go. So yeah, I did that, and I still regularly go. I still
Yeah.
see people weekly, and have an appointment every other week with a standing person. But the work I do, I still consistently do my own energy clearing
Oh,
with
wow.
someone and see people regularly. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah. And, I've had so many people on this show talk about, I always ask, like, what did you do? And it doesn't matter to me but I feel like I was doing all those things. And I was also doing journaling.
oh yes,
I had friends doing like, make sure you're doing like the exercise portion so you're getting those good chemicals back in your brain. But man, I was so low when I left. I was like, I don't even know what it looks like, but we're going to go work on Laura. And I said, I cannot live like this. Like, I just knew it was so low. I didn't really know about emotional abuse. So I didn't really understand what had happened to me until I started unraveling it all. So it was great to just walk out and go like, I know I'm low. Like I didn't even want to be alive. So I'm like, let's go fix this. And yeah, I
yeah,
did all those things, but also just like going out with friends and laughing, you know,
absolutely,
and
yeah,
exercise, just going for walks, exercising, whatever, hiking and all that, and taking up painting, things that I was like, no one told me I couldn't do these things, right? Because like my dad's the painter in the family. So I wasn't really encouraged to be a painter. So one
I
day I
have
said,
one of those parents. My mom
yeah,
was the painter, and it was like, I can't paint. She's the painter. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. Same thing with books. I'm not the writer. Okay. So now I've written multiple books and I actually
amazing.
I took a class and she was offering one-on-one. So I did that. And she's like, okay, we're going to paint this Saison fruit bowl. And I was like, oh my God, really? Like Saison? Oh my God. And we did it. And I was like, oh, I can paint.
You can
But
paint.
I can paint. I actually do understand when she's telling me, okay, so that because she's like, you have really good instincts. I'm like, well, I'm very type A. I know how to follow directions. And also, I get like the idea of if you do this, it's going to have a shadow and whatever. So I got that idea. And so it was fun to do those things and go like, oh,
Yeah.
look at
I did
that.
do a lot of those things too. You brought up journaling.
Yeah.
Actually, journaling really helped me.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
I have books and books, and I recommend it highly with everyone that I work with. It's
Yeah.
so powerful, but it's a way to express things sometimes you're not even aware that are within you. And sometimes you can't articulate them. And
Yes.
I felt for years, if anyone read any of these things, they would think I'm an angry beast. But it was a way to get it out. And you sometimes go back and think, I didn't even realize I was feeling this way.
I know.
But even Laura, Christina, feel just like when or because. But it allows you to process your emotions and
Yeah.
feelings and just to express them. And feelings are meant to be expressed, not to be
Mm.
within. And a lot of illnesses are caused by keeping our emotions and our feelings in, a lot of anxiety. And so
Yeah.
just putting them on paper and getting them out and writing them. Yes, it's okay. Yes, we have journal prompts and there's so many things you can do.
Right.
Physically writing them is very important and very
Yes.
powerful. So I would not have survived the first 3 years, 5 years after my divorce
Mm.
or my healing journey without journaling.
I've been journaling forever, probably since I had a diary when I was 10 with a little
Yep.
lock on it.
Yeah.
I love doing it. I really didn't know. I just knew that I didn't know the benefits, but I just knew that I felt better when I wrote my thoughts down. Now, of course, there were years where it's like I could tell somebody read my diary or things like that. And I hated
Yeah.
that part. I truly hate that part. But when you are in toxic situations, people are just going to do what they want to do. But, if you're coming out of this and you're living alone, it's like, please do that because it's a great way. So I think we're taught societally as well, like, you're overreacting or women are so angry or whatever, like you're not supposed to be angry. Anger is such a good indicator that there's something wrong. There's something wrong if we're angry, but we are allowed to be angry, especially like when I found out that I started to unravel all the lies that my ex had been telling me. I'm like, I was so furious. I've never been that mad. And so,
Rightfully so. Yeah.
so rather than going to kill him, I decided to journal because I don't do jail and don't want to go to prison. And he's not worth my time that way. So, but I understood like how women snap and snow. So I talk to women and say, like, if you're not journaling, you have to, because you can put your real thoughts, feelings, hopes, and dreams down and say, I really hate this. I hate this part of my life. I thought I was going to be retiring with this person. I thought we were going to live happily ever after, even though I wasn't that happy, like all these things.
Yes.
And so I had actually, when I started going back through all my journals, I was like, oh my God, all the red flags and all his toxicity was in front of me, but I didn't know. I didn't know
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. So of course, so I decided to write my book with my journal entries. So that's what my book is. It's like
Oh,
I have 22 like journal entries, and yeah, some are really flowery and I'm doing so good today.
and
And
some
then
are not.
and some are like, fuck him, fuck her.
Yeah.
But I wanted people to see, like, you're going to take 2 steps forward and you might go back and you might go forward and back. And it's okay. It's normal. And you're grieving and it's a mess and it's normal and it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And like,
Yeah.
even part of the day is good and the rest of the day is bad. That doesn't mean you have a terrible life and it doesn't mean you did the wrong thing. It just means you're healing and grieving.
Yep. Yep. And so much of this process is about not abandoning yourself.
Yes.
And so many times when I was journaling, I would realize, okay, I am so mad at that person or that situation.
Okay.
Where am I not showing up for myself?
Yeah.
Where do I need to just have a boundary here
Yeah.
and really speak? Where am I not speaking up for myself? Because at the end of the day, yeah, we're mad at that person, that situation, that thing. But am I not speaking really what I need? What are my needs? Because that's where you start to see a trend of, I
Yes.
don't even know what my own needs are. I'm not speaking up about my needs.
Yeah.
And we abandon ourselves. It's huge.
I had so much anger and when I was married, but now starting to understand boundaries because I didn't have boundaries until after, as I was starting to understand boundaries, because as a former people pleaser, I was
Yeah.
like, I can't tell people what to do. I thought that's what boundaries were. And it was made very clear by everyone around me. No, you can't tell us what to do. And you're so controlling and you're so difficult. Those are the people who are benefiting from you not having boundaries.
They are.
So pay attention. And when I learned that no, boundaries are what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, I was free. And I was like, oh, I get it. So when I was walking around this world angry, I started to say, somewhere along the way, I gave you guys permission to treat me like shit, and I don't get it. And I don't like it. And what my body was telling me was I needed a boundary, but I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I didn't know how to do it. So that's why to me, when people are angry, like you just said, like, where are you not speaking up for yourself? Because we've been taught, abandon yourself. That makes you a better wife, mother, person if you put everyone else ahead of you. But there are a lot of people walking around in resentment.
Oh, major, major.
Yeah. And so that to me was such a good indicator. And frankly, I don't have any anger now.
Well, that,
Unless it's for something that's going on in the world. But I mean, I don't walk around this world in anger because I know how to say what I need.
yeah. I mean, our outer world is a big indicator of what's going on inside,
Yes. Yeah.
and that's even as an energy healer, that's kind of a big indicator. It's like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
That's like, let's look within, not necessarily abuse. I'm not going there. I'm just saying
Yes, exactly.
we can look inside. It's like, what are we, boundaries are, what are we available for? Where are we not speaking up?
Yes.
Where did we give permission to walk all over us? And where are we not speaking up? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And being told, like, or even not even necessarily told, but trained and
Oh,
manipulated
yeah.
and gaslit that your needs are not important. And so, but we'll get resentful and we'll get sick and all that stuff. So, okay. So we're getting to the end. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
could talk to you
Okay.
forever though. I mean, there's so much good stuff. But is there anything I'm going to ask you about, like, where people can find you and all that? But tell me, is there anything that you want to finish with before we say goodbye?
I just want everyone to know that if you're not feeling the way you want to feel, it can change. It really can change. And it doesn't have to take forever. It feels like it's impossible. It feels maybe the unreachable, but it can change very quickly. And yes, you might need support. You might need someone to guide you, but there are methods and there's techniques. And when one of them might resonate or might sound, okay, that's kind of a nudge from the universe. Like, go check that out, go explore it. But it can change and it will change.
That's amazing. I love it. Christina, thank you so much for talking with me. This has
Thank
been
you.
so good. I mean, just so good. I love it. So many good things for my listeners to grab onto and hopefully work with you. So tell us where everyone can find you, and then we'll put everything in the show notes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. So Instagram's a great place, Christina.L.Woods. And like you said, I have a free masterclass coming up, but I also always have free things or downloads and other programs going on.
That's wonderful. Okay, we'll put everything in the show notes. And guys, if anything resonated with you today, of course, reach out to Christina, and of course, tell Podcast Land you love us because you're in Apple or Spotify right now. Click the buttons, tell them you love us, hit the stars, all those things. So that way we can keep doing this work. Christina, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for joining me today on the That's Where I'm At podcast. Did the story today resonate with you? Do you think others would benefit from hearing the stories we are telling? Please go to Apple or Spotify right now to leave a review so everyone in podcast land will know you love the show. We want to continue sharing stories of hope and healing. I'll be back next time. I'll talk to you then.